Does life get better instantly after you leave and go no contact with your narcissistic family system where you're the scapegoat? Absolutely not. Um, Not for me at least, because if you didn't like find good people and a good support system like that is solidly healthy and normal and sane before you left, you're gonna be susceptible to just, I don't know how to explain it. It's like having the mark of Cain almost. And yeah, I don't know. For me, it's been like not just, oh, asking myself, why can't I just let it go? Like, cut everybody off if I'm in the same situation. Like, I have the strength to cut my own family off. Why can't I cut off someone else's family who's not even my family? Why can't I just stop trying to, I don't know what the word is, like defend myself basically against accusation? It's like, why can't you just like step away? And that's the whole thing where it's like, oh, if you keep defending yourself, you're engaging and you're fueling it. But we all know that's not how normal human beings act. That's not how normal people act. So, I don't know, just the idea that you have to act inhuman, that you kind of have to stoop to the other people's level by like not, I just feel like the rules of communicating is like somebody accuses you of something, you defend yourself. People get clarity. It's just my brain cannot understand why this would not work unless we're not dealing with human beings. Why would that not work? Like, my brain cannot wrap around this. And then it's like, if it's worked with no one in my life thus far, and we're talking about on a grand scale, like, I haven't even gone into the scarlet letter type stuff that I've been through outside of relationships and outside of my family. Like, I've never talked about how bosses have decided to target me and embarrass me, humiliate me at jobs. Okay, I haven't even gotten into that. And then you go through this stuff and it's like, wow, it really is me. Is it? I don't think it's me, but why is everyone around me so crazy? Wouldn't that mean that I'm the crazy one because I'm the common denominator? But then it's like, it's so many different situations. People who don't even, it's not even personal relationships. Sometimes it can be strangers, complete strangers. And that's what makes you feel like, okay, is there an actual target on my forehead? Like, was I trained to also be just a victim, just of abuse in general? I I'm gonna go ahead and, well, maybe I'll break them up. I don't know. But I will tell y'all, the story of my worst job ever. Okay. It was at Cinnabon at the mall. And this is why, me personally, I have sworn off of ever again working for a family business. Okay. You do not want to get yourself involved in nothing like that. Specifically, if you were like scapegoated or abused at all, do not do it. You see a job application that's talking about we're all a family here, you are going to get pummeled, okay? So I was at Cinnabon at my local mall, back down home. And it was an Indian family. Just to give you like this idea of what was going on here. And the dad was the owner. I guess it was like a franchise. He was the owner. And he worked there. His wife was like the hiring lady. She was the one I had my interview with, and she was the one who handled like, you know, who we contacted and stuff. Excuse me for whatever. Then he had an older daughter who was very like vivacious, social. I think she was, I can't remember if she was older than me or not. Maybe the same age. And then did he have two sons or one? I think two sons, I might want to say. But I specifically remember the one son who was like pretty quiet. And then it was me, this other girl who got hired around the same time as me. And then there was this Hispanic girl who was like, she was in college and maybe she was graduating, so she was like leaving, and that's who they was like replacing, because she left shortly after we got hired. But this was during COVID. Summer. Like 2021, I think. Yeah, so just to give you the idea, like we're wearing masks and protocol and all this, whatever, other stuff. And people having to leave as soon as they show the littlest bit of a cough or a sneeze and confirm that they don't have COVID, type of thing. Eventually, unfortunately, the other girl that I'm working with, who was left after the girl who left, she, I don't know, it was probably a huge lie, but she claimed that she tested positive for COVID, so she had to be on like a mandatory, you cannot come back until you confirm that you don't have COVID anymore. So I'm the only outsider working there now. And the bullying, I'm gonna put that lightly, started during training. Like, I remember This is just crazy, y'all. I could rage over this all day. But I had just recently started or something, and come on, I was not working full time, so I wasn't coming in like every day of the week for 8 hours. I don't remember what my schedule was, but yeah, I remember one of the first incidents was like him calling me back to, because he had cameras. Like, it was a small area. Y'all know how Cinnabons is. But there was like a back area where his little office was. And he had cameras in there to like see the front desk and everything. So I guess he was watching me, what I was and wasn't doing, according to him. And so he ends up, I don't remember, y'all. I remember him standing over me, like testing me in front of my coworkers and his family and customers. Just like making a spectacle out of the fact that I did not know how to make these drinks yet. And like I said, y'all, still training. So he's like, make me a blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, y'all, I apologize. But finally, I think finally, at my old age, I can admit, I cannot follow verbal instructions. Okay? Like, I'm not good at stuff like that. I do not belong in the food industry, yet that's the only jobs that I've been able to like get. That is so frustrating. But yeah, when it comes to like remembering these things, it won't matter like how many times I've done it before. Like, there can be moments when I just completely forget what the heck I'm doing. And I'm just like, oh shoot. And then there's nothing there for me to like look at and follow. And it's so frustrating. But so I start making said drink, and I'm sure one of them I got right, but most of them I was getting wrong. And then he actually like got fully frustrated at me, like a big huff and puff, and was like, come here, come back to the office. And so I follow him back there, and he sits at his desk and he's like, what are you doing? What are you doing while you're here? Like, you're not paying attention to, I think the girl's name is Yuri. You're not paying, or something like that. You're not paying attention to, Yuri. You're not watching her. You need to be standing by her, watching her make these drinks until you figure out how to make the drinks. I'm not going to learn how to make those drinks by just watching her. But, you know, I'm just standing there and I'm just feeling like, wow, okay. And of course, this is before I'm fully, like, I'm not even fully aware of the abuse going on in my own household that I've been raised up with. So I'm kind of just like sulking, not realizing, like, what the fuck? I'm a grown adult right now. I'm in my early 20s. Like, you don't have a right to talk to me like this. Like, you're above me. I come here, provide work for you, and you pay me. This is not, I'm not your child. You know, he was talking to me like I was his child. So, of course, I didn't say anything. I was just like, I don't know, stunned. And then, yeah, he's berating me. He's like, you need to go home and study the menu. And y'all, I'm not gonna lie, I did. I'm trying to think because that's not the first job I ended up going home and doing extra work for. A food service job, y'all. A food service job. Doing extra work, studying the menu outside of hours where I'm not getting paid. So, but that's when that pressure started, and I was just like, wow, I feel terrible. Like, am I stupid? Why does the other girl know how to make these drinks already and I don't? So, anyway, um, it ends up kind of like escalating to like nitpicking my cleaning when it's once it's just me. Now I've kind of figured out how to make the drinks and like semi work most of the buttons, the important buttons on the cash register to ring people up. And now then it turns into criticism over like cleaning at the end of the night because I worked from 1 to 9. I remember that specifically. 1 to 9. Because it was the mall. The mall be closing. Sometimes I was there from open to 3. Open, the mall open at like 10:30. Or the mall open for walkers. This was shortly before the mall completely closed. So, like before a mall kind of gets abandoned and everybody leaves. Like all the tenants leave, it becomes like a walking mall. So people would come in and start walking at like 10:30 in the morning. And I think we were already open, or by 11 we was like done setting up to open or whatever. But on the nights that I had to close, when we closed with the mall, so I had to mop and do this specific like checklist, which included like putting the dough in the freezer and like prepping it in the oven and just all that kind of stuff. um but yeah, I remember him just criticizing the hell out of the way that I mopped the tile. Like I said, y'all, it was a small store, so it was just like behind the counter, this strip of tile behind the counter. Where was the counter? And then we made the drinks, and then back here's the oven, back here's the refrigerator, and then across from the fridges and the freezers was like the area where we prepped the cinnamon rolls. And then it was the back. And then beside that was like the dining room, and it was just like three or four little 4-seater tables or whatever. So it wasn't that much. But he started getting into criticizing the way that I was mopping. Like trying to make it like, oh God, this girl's mopping. You're mopping like lazily, is what he was getting at. And he even, to my knowledge, to my remembrance, he used that kind of terminology. Not like straight up lazy, but kind of like, where did you learn how to mop? Like, bruh, you're not doing it right. You need to do it like this, literally. So, oh God. It was bad enough that he was doing this, like, and there was no witness except his family. But then one day, he actually, like, there was a customer there, so, Yeah, I was mopping. It was closing. It was like closing in on 9 o'clock. And he actually physically snatched the mop from me. And I don't even remember what he said to me. Something rude in front of that customer. And then started mopping himself. So after that incident, and y'all, there was multiple moments where I went in the back to the bathroom and just cried at that job. Because I was fucking embarrassed. I felt stupid. I'm like, how fucking hard could this be? And why is it only hard for me? Why do I have to deal with this? Because nobody witnesses it. And of course, the same thing where nobody's doing anything or saying anything because they're scared of him. His family was scared of him. His son was scared of him. His wife was scared of him. So yeah, I ended up quitting. And I remember that day when I walked in to get my final check. His wife handed it to me and she looked so freaking guilty. She looked so guilty. But I was so angry by then. I just took the check and turned and walked out. And no shocker that when tax time came around, it was past Valentine's Day, and they still had mailed me my freaking so I couldn't do my taxes until they decided to mail my stuff. I don't remember if I had to contact her about that or what. But yeah. And then even in my last job at the end of my pregnancy, so my mom passed away while I was working at Morris Furniture. And I took some bereavement leave, whatever. My boss was Nepalese. Their races don't really matter. It's just the fact that these are men in a position of power. Anywhere. That's the theme you need to pick up on. And so, I remember that day getting the call from my dad and then going and being like, I need to leave. Like, my mom is in the hospital. Letting him know I'm leaving. So then I leave. All of that happens. She's gone. And I take bereavement. And when I came back, I'm telling y'all, I tried. Like, that was a feat for me to come back to work after something like that happened. Because no, I would never normally come back to work after even being gone for like 2 days or something. If something happens at work, I'm just done. And I'm like, just get on Indeed, find a fucking another one, because I'm not dealing with it. But I actually decided to try and be an adult for once and just go back to work when leave was over. So I go back and, I guess, well, I had emailed him. I emailed him. So it got around to my coworkers what had happened, I didn't appreciate that, but it was whatever. So I come back and, the older lady that was helping me out and talking to me throughout, came out to give me a hug and say her condolences, and people were saying their condolences and stuff like that. But we had morning meetings every morning at that job. So we would just like gather wherever it was where seating is. It was a furniture store. And then we'd have like morning meetings with our boss, the Nepalese dude. Or he was the stand-in boss because the actual boss had just like quit out of nowhere. The one who hired me had quit. So he was like the stand-in second boss type guy. So during some of these meetings, it would just be like, I don't know, sometimes it would be like quizzes. And it's just like, y'all, I don't know. I'm not cut out for nothing like that. I barely knew how to do my job. I could barely ring anybody up. Like, it was worse than food service for sure. It was so complicated for me. I could talk about that. That could be a different thing that I could talk about. But it was so hard for me. Then it's even harder because you're doing these things in the moment with the pressure of a customer on you, staring at you. You know what I mean? When you're learning how to do this stuff. So, and then it's like somebody can't always be there to stand over you and like guide you through it. And in my head, I'm just like, how does anybody learn how to do this job? It doesn't make any sense. Oh my gosh. And then, y'all, when it came to customizing, this was, at Morris, some of these furniture pieces you can customize. Like the couches can have different configurations of all kinds of stuff that's not there in the showroom. And then like you having to know what's on the showroom floor. There's like hundreds of pieces of furniture on the showroom floor. And people come in just asking for these specific things. What? I haven't. My furniture is IKEA. Like, what? Oh my gosh. Anyway. So, what was I talking about? Oh, Lord. What was I talking about? Anyway, the morning meetings, yeah. Where we go over sales goals and stuff like that. And I'm just like, bruh, my checks are $1,200. That's amazing. That's all I'm there for. I don't know how to do my fucking job. Like, forget commission. I got commission a good few couple times, like maybe like 3 or 4 times. Cause whether it was like sharing a sale and whatnot, because I did not know what I was doing. I'm not a social type of person where I feel comfortable getting up in people's faces and selling stuff to them, So, but anyway, during the morning meetings, I was silent because at that point I'm grieving. I'm thinking we had just had her memorial, and now all the family fighting has started between my dad and my brother. So I'm stressed as hell. And so during the morning meetings, I was just quiet. So I don't know. My boss just kept like pointing me out to ask me questions or just trying to force me to engage. When, like I said, I emailed him, I told him my mom passed away. And we're only a couple weeks out from that now. So now he's just suddenly, when before he wasn't paying no attention to me, now he's like targeting me during these morning meetings, trying to test me and like ask me questions and all this nonsense. So, and asking like, Shane, are you okay? How are you doing? In front of all of my coworkers for absolutely no reason. And this was a situation where it was like Morris and Ashley combined. So like the workers from Ashley would also be in these meetings. So, you know. And I remember one day, it was probably the last day I showed up to work because I was real like, are you serious? Because that had been going on for basically every time that I would come into work after that. But this day, we was sitting there and he was like, he said something like, why aren't you smiling? Or what's going on with you? Something of that sort. Just targeting me for no reason, because it literally had nothing, the conversation had nothing to do with me. He just kept bringing me into these discussions. And then it's like, even if nothing had happened, I still don't have shit to add to this conversation because I don't know how to do my job, because I don't understand none of this. So it would have been ridiculous to call me out anyway. It would have just been for the purpose of embarrassment. But knowing that I'm grieving and I'm pregnant, and then you want to ask me, like, why do I seem so upset? Like, why am I not smiling? Like, what's wrong with me? In front of a whole bunch of people, I'd had it. I had it. I don't think I ever walked out of that job, but I almost want to think that that day I might have just walked out and left. I don't remember. But yeah, I just couldn't take it no more. Like, no, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. And then even the customers. I'm not even going to go into the freaking pedophile that I worked with at Morris, who was trying to, you know, who was like kind of sexually harassing me. What? Yeah, I'm pregnant. And of course, that has been a thing for years, where pedophile type people see me, think I'm a kid, and then start trying to like lure me in, low-key kidnap me, literally off the street while I'm walking. Okay, like, I can go ahead and tell them stories too. Like, I ain't safe out here. I ain't never been safe out here. Okay? So, I'm not even gonna go into that yet, because that was a whole thing. And normally something like that would make me quit a job, because I'm like, are you for real right now? I had just started. And this grown ass, old ass man, probably in his late 40s, is like putting his hand on my back, walking all close to me, getting buddy up with me, trying to act like he's teaching me how to do the job. But then how does that end up you asking me if you can take me out for lunch? If I want you to buy me lunch. What? Bro. So, yeah. Even the customers at these jobs, if it wasn't comments on, how old are you? You look so young. I remember at my first job at Steak and Shake, I was pretty old to be doing my first job. I was like 18 or 19. I had already graduated. And I worked at Steak and Shake as a waitress. And I remember, I think it was like an older man. Like, first of all, you get disrespected. You know, when you walk up to somebody's table, you're a waitress, and I don't know, you get perceived as being a child or a kid. Obviously, I have to be at least 15 to be working here legally. So it's like, what? But you get the disrespect from customers because they automatically assume, oh, you don't know what you're doing because you're a little kid. Anyway, and it doesn't matter how long you've been doing the job either. Because later on, I'll tell you about while I was working at White Castle where I met my husband for a year at that point, and a year in, people were making comments to me. Okay, so anyway, what was I talking about? Yeah, at Steak and Shake, I served this elderly couple, and the man was asking like, "How old are you? How old do you need to be to work here? You look so young." And then I'm just being polite. I can't. Oh my God, I can't. And he gave me a good luck penny in a tip. Now, I hope the Lord is just like making me forget that they also gave me a legitimate tip. But yeah. He's like, here, have this good luck penny. Yeah. And then if it's not the disrespect, if it's not the like talking down to while seeming like you're just being polite, it'll be sexual harassment from those weird old men who like preying on teenagers because they think you're a teenager. Oh my gosh. Making inappropriate sexual comments, jokes. Yeah. And then, like I said, later on at White Castle, which I was 24, 25 working there. 20, 23, 24. 24, I think. I had been working there for like a year, right? And then people were still coming to the counter acting like I was being too slow for them, like I wasn't working fast enough for them. Like I said, I have been working the cash register for a year, and this time I was putting in hours, okay? It was just on repeat, repeat, repeat. So, but still, my brain, some days it would just be like, dang, I forgot how to do my job. Like, what? Dang. And then there's nothing there to assist me. So, in those moments, of course, it'll be the wrong person at the register, on the other side of the register. And they'll be like, oh, is it your first day here, sweetie? Y'all. Oh my God. You just get talked to like a piece of shit wherever you go. Okay? Because you got this whatever stamp on you. And then not to mention the strangers. The way strangers will treat you. Like I said, because I wasn't driving, I was walking a lot of places. And even if I didn't need to go to the store or if I wasn't on my way to work or something, I still like to walk around after I finally got a house key because I like to take walks. I liked to do my little, because I was into photography real heavy, like landscape photography and nature photography. So I would like take sunset walks in the summer and like take pictures of the sunset and the clouds and stuff like that around the neighborhoods. So, you know, out and about on these walks on multiple occasions, it would be men driving down the street. Sometimes they were grown or grown enough to it's like where it's like you're not we're in the same bracket here. We're both adults here. But it's like it's obvious that he thinks I'm a child who doesn't have who's just wandering the streets alone. So there was multiple situations where this guy is like driving down the road and actually slows down, creeping to my walking pace, roll the passenger window down, and call out, "Hey, do you need help? Do you need help? Do you need a ride?" Y'all, I cannot make this up. I don't want nobody in these comments being like, "Oh, they just thought you needed help." A regular ass woman walking, taking a walk. Does that happen to her? And people passing by in their cars think that she's lost and needs help. Get out, please. Get out. There wasn't nothing suspicious about me. I'm just walking. Even if you did see an actual kid walking, like a kid with a backpack or something, would you actually think to slow down your car as a grown man? A grown man, slow down your car next to somebody, roll the passenger side window down, and ask them, do they need help? Be for real. They was trying to traffic me. They was trying to kidnap me and traffic me, bro. Anyway. So that happened too many times. Too many. Once is already too many times, and it happened more than once. Happened more than twice. So, yeah. And then one incident I really do not like to talk about. Like y'all feel me? This is all contributing to like major, I don't even want to call it social anxiety, but just me, it contributed to me like wanting to stop leaving the house and stop working. Stop working because I'm like, oh God. When I go to this interview, I'm going to have to fight against the person interviewing me. If I get hired, I'm going to have to fight against my coworkers. I get trained, I'm going to have to fight against the customers to prove that I'm capable, to prove that I'm not an idiot, to prove I know how to do this job, to prove that I'm worthy of respect, to prove that I'm an adult and I'm not a kid. Oh my God. It just got to be too much. And then I was like, man. And then how am I going to get to work? I'm going to have to sit in the car with my freaking dad, have my dad take me, be around my dad way too much, and have him know way too much about my schedule. So he knows when I quit a job so he can sit there and berate me and humiliate me and make fun of me for quitting another job. And then I'm like, or then I'm going to have to walk there and then risk being harassed on the streets. And so my world just starts shrinking, bro. It just starts shrinking. But this particular incident really made me start to feel like I'm actually being targeted and something is actually wrong with me. And I need to figure out what it is, because people are seeing something in me and they're wanting to like prey on me. So this happened with my ex-boyfriend. Now, there was a lot of horrible things that happened with him, but this was like just a side effect of being with a terrible, disgusting human being and calling him your boyfriend. Okay. So, early 20s, probably what, like 21 or 22. We went to the gas station and, excuse me, he told me to go in the gas station and, you know, put the gas, do the gas thing. But it's like, I had never done that before. So even thinking back, I'm kind of like, why did he tell me to do that day? That wasn't even normal for him to tell me to go in the gas station. Now that I'm thinking about it, it didn't make sense because I didn't know how to do that. But, so I get out the car, he stays in the car or whatever. And then, it was the gas station, and then it was like this little hill where it was this plaza up here. And the first building was, I guess I don't want to say it was an art studio, but it was like a frame store. They sold frames. It was called Frames and something. And then so I just, you know, just looking around, looking at my surroundings, I look over and I accidentally make eye contact with this man who's just like standing against that wall underneath the sign on the side of that building. And he's just looking down at me. But I just looked away real quick because I was like, ugh, awkward. Like, ugh. Didn't know you was there. I go in the gas station. I'm standing in line. I get to the register. Now, it was a lot of people in this gas station. There's about 5 or 6 bodies in there. Plenty of people behind me in line, whatever. Including women. And then the guy behind the counter. So, the door opens and that same man just walks in. And I didn't think nothing of it. It's just like, whatever. And then I don't know if he got behind me in line, whatever. He started talking to me. And at first it was just like small talk. Something like suspicious, do I know you? Or something like that. Let me reiterate, y'all. Obviously, even now that I'm almost 30, I look pretty young. We're talking about 6 years ago. Okay. So, obviously that man is not looking at me like I'm a grown woman. So, yeah. Whatever. The conversation escalates into, I'm going to kill you. Y'all, I kid you not. I kid you not. It wasn't even nighttime. It was broad daylight. There was a whole bunch of people around. He was not whispering. he stood there. This man that I don't fucking know, never seen before 2 seconds ago, is like, I'm going to kill you. So, obviously, my dumb doe ass freezes, right? I can't do nothing. I can't move. I don't know what to say back. It's just silent in there. You would think there was nobody in that gas station. This is why certain stuff pisses me off so bad. Like the silence when something happens to me. Silence. And then I don't even remember what else that man said. He ain't put his hands on me. It felt like an eternity before the dude behind the counter started like walking out to be like, man, you gotta go. You gotta go. It was a white dude. He was like, you gotta go. You need to go. Or else I'm gonna call the police. So, yeah, like I said, there was a grown woman right behind me. But anyway, yeah, he left. And then it's like, as he's leaving, my ex is just strolling in. And to add insult to injury, from my perspective now, it's like he was only coming in to see what was taking so long on the pump, because the pump wasn't working, or why I was taking so long. But yeah, to add insult to injury, we have been together for a while, but he called me shorty, as in like he doesn't really know me for real, or that I'm not his girlfriend. After that just happened publicly, he calls me shorty after I just got my life threatened randomly in the gas station, and no one did anything. So if that man had decided to stab me suddenly, I would have been on the ground stabbed because nobody would have stopped him. So, or choke me, punch me, whatever, strangle me, whatever. And then, yeah, suddenly I'm shorty. Okay. Then we leave. My ex gets in the car. We get in the car. And he's like, is that the dude? Like, I'll get him. Da da da. Acting all. Fuck him. But after that is when I really stopped leaving the house for real. I did not set foot out the house unless I knew I was going to be with my ex at the time. And then even after we broke up, I had stopped leaving the house. I stopped going on those walks. And it took me a long time to go back to work after that. And, you know, it was hard. I'm not gonna lie. And still, I feel it's gotten better now because I kind of have a status in society now, and a certain level of respect afforded to me because people see me out with my daughter. They're like, oh, she's a mom. She's old enough to be a mom. Then now it's like, oh, they see me with the ring. It's like, oh, she got a husband. She not just out here. You know what I mean? So, but yeah. Yeah, my world just shrank as these incidents started to pile up on me. Then, not to mention the stuff that was going on at home at the time, making me more paranoid. As in, like, you know, we just described many incidents where, the outside world has proved threatening multiple times. And it's like a pattern now. I don't yet know the pattern. But after I got my house key, after I graduated, is when I first got a house key. Or I think it was like 2 weeks before my graduation was the first time I even walked home from school. So I had just got a house key. So, conveniently, of course, after I'm given a house key, is when my dad decides to start playing with the locks and locking me out on the back porch whenever I don't have my key to the front door, right? So this is when he starts the locking me out bullshit. Yeah, for absolutely no reason. None. Oh, gosh. Conveniently, while I'm getting traumatized out here in this world, he's locking me out of the house with no way to get back in. And it would be situations, normal situations. Like, we have my dog at this point. So, I'd be going out in the backyard. It's just like, why? It's like being put in a situation where you even have to explain why you're going out on the back porch to people. Because you're being locked out on the back porch for no reason. But yeah. So, it would be just an average situation. Like, going to see what my dog was doing. Going to check on my dog or play with him. Or just sit outside. Or just, like, get out the house. But no, it became this type of thing where it's like, no, you can't go on the back porch, or I'm going to make you be scared to go on the back porch because I'm going to lock you out. Obviously, the first couple times it's like, why would I bring my house key to the front door outside with me when I'm just going on the back porch for a little bit? Why would I do that? And then sometimes it would be like, I wouldn't even have my phone. Because I'm just going out for 2 seconds. Locked. Now, I wish I could say it was the last time that happened. I think it was the last time that he fully locked me out on the back porch and walked away from the door. Yeah. Because he did do it, I want to say either once or twice more while I was pregnant. Too. In my first trimester. But this particular time, the last time he fully locked the door, the air was on. There was 2 back doors. There was a screen door and then the wooden door. The wooden door was on the inside of the house, then the screen door on the outside of the house. So with the air on, it was summer. I think it was like July. Um, Obviously, first of all, it's hot outside. Then I don't even remember why I went out. Why I went out. I don't know. See what my dog was doing. Give him some water, maybe. I don't know. Give him a treat. I don't know. Why do I have to explain why I'm going outside? Like I don't have the freedom to go outside. Like I was in jail. No. So yeah, the house is sealed up. My mom worked from home. After COVID, she did not go back to the office. She worked from home. And that was good. That was good though. But I want to say we this is before she got sick. Or before we found out that she was sick. So she was just working like normal back in her office. And she was a customer service rep. So she had like a headset that she wore. And then, my dad was in the house. Maybe this was earlier in her diagnosis because I feel like he was retired. Because all his bullshit definitely ramped up after he retired for the final time. Because he was just he was too bored at home. Too bored all day. For real. So, yeah, he had to have been retired the final time. So, I'm not thinking nothing of it. I just, I go out the back door. Then, finish whatever I was doing, whatever. And then I turn to go back in. And I open the screen door. I get to the wooden door, turn the knob, it's locked. Mind y'all, this is like who knows how many times I've gotten locked out by now. So it's unbelievable to me, and the rage is like uncontrollable immediately. But I try to stay calm. And the way the house was, it was like the back deck. Then there was a window right here that led into the dining room on the other side. And then a window right here that led into the kitchen. And then the window all the way over here was my parents' room, the master bedroom. My mom was across in the room, across the hall, at the front of the house with her headset on. So like, oh my God. Even though I'm screaming and banging on the door, of course I didn't have my phone, y'all. I was not out there for not 2 minutes. I wasn't out there for not 2 minutes. And I don't remember my dad even being there. Like he was downstairs. So it's just like, what even made you come upstairs and then lock the wooden door but not lock the screen? You feel me? So, So, ooh, this makes me so mad. But yeah, so I'm and there, like, that wooden door had a window. Like a window where it was like in two separate pieces, like that. And so I'm banging on this window. I'm getting angrier and angrier so fast. Because I'm like, I'm not a fucking dog. But he kept locking me outside the house like I was our dog. And I was real tired of it at this point. Because it had already been addressed so many times. Stop doing that. Why are you doing that? But yeah. I even think I had started like taking my key and phone with me when I would go out on the back porch just in case I get locked out and then have to jump the fence to get back in the house through the front door. But I think this time it just slipped my mind because it's like, dang, I was only going out there for 2 seconds. So yeah, I'm banging on the door, yelling, screaming, shouting for my mom, but I know damn well she is not gonna hear me. And, he's obviously conveniently disappeared back downstairs. So, y'all, I got so mad, I broke the fucking window. Yeah, I did. I did. I didn't even do it on purpose. It was just the force with which I was banging on that window. And I got so angry. The fact I'm standing here on the back porch in the blazing heat, locked out of the house for no reason. So yeah, the fucking window got broke. And then apparently my dad finally realized, oh yeah, these little games that I'm playing with her cost me money. I shouldn't be doing this. Because he had to fix the window. So he stopped for a while. Or I might have just stopped going out on the back porch. I'm positive after that I stopped going out on the back porch altogether. I was too scared to. Or my anger issues just couldn't handle the thought of going out on the back porch anymore. So that zone of the home became off limits for me for the rest of my days in that house. And that incident happened in my mom found out she was sick. That was COVID time too, kind of. So for a good 4 or 5 years, yeah, I couldn't go on the back porch because I was going to get locked out. Now, fast forward to when I was like 2 months pregnant, July again. June or July, late June, early July. It was July because my mom was home by then from her surgery that she had in late June, her brain surgery. So I'm 2 months pregnant. And this is the incident that I talked about with the gopher and my dad paralyzing this gopher in front of me for absolutely no reason that day. So, minding my business, whatever. I don't know why I went outside. I'm thinking, is it that I saw something was wrong with my dog, or did I hear something, or was I already out there? I don't remember. Yeah, I think I saw like the door was open, so only the screen. I'm looking through the screen, and that's when I saw my dog like fighting with this animal. So I ran outside. I'm like yelling. And then I grabbed the shovel out of the what you call it? Shed thingy box. And then I'm like going down there trying to like break them apart, whatever. Yeah, I told that story already. Then he like takes the shovel from me for no reason because they're already broken up, and then my dog's all the way over here distracted, and the gopher's just like there. And it would have been so easy, just like slowly back up, just have the shovel ready in case it tries to charge you and give you freaking rabies. Just slowly back up and like let it be, right? But no, he had to smack the damn thing square in the head. The gopher passes out, and then I'm just side eyeing the fuck out of him. And then I said, whatever I said, I was like, what did I say? Like something like, you not right, or was something not right with you? Something like that. And then I stayed down there in the grass because I'm feeling immense guilt. I'm like, is this thing dead? Did he just kill this thing? So I'm just waiting for it to move again. And he's already gone back up the deck stairs and like back in the house. And so I'm distracted watching the gopher. Of course, like I said, it got up, but it was paralyzed. Like I could only use its like two little legs in front. And then it was like dragging itself. Its other back legs was like dead. And so it was just dragging itself. And so I'm like following it and watching as it drags itself to the hole that was like in the fence where it was gonna like leave out the yard. And I just followed it and made sure it left out the yard so my dog didn't get to it while it's paralyzed now and actually like kill it. He got out the yard. I felt ugh about it. Very disgusted. Like, I understand self-defense. Wild animals are nothing to play with. But it was just, the situation didn't actually call for it. And that's not just me speaking as like, oh, hurting animals, blah, blah, blah. Let's save all the animals. That's me being like, no, it really was not necessary. So, yeah. Peace has been restored in the backyard. The gopher's gone. Unfortunately, it's looking paralyzed and it's injured, but it's gonna go back, crawl to his hole, and hopefully heal up. My dog's back to running his little circles, chasing his tail. So I go back up the deck stairs and I get to the screen door. It's locked. Y'all just heard me tell you my dad knows I'm outside still. And then it was weird because he was right there just standing. He ended up just being right there because the door unlocked immediately. Like as soon as I pulled on it and it was locked, he was already unlocking it. Like he was just creeping by the door. So, in a situation where you felt like it was so dangerous that this wild animal is going to strike if you don't strike first, so you paralyze it, but then you lock the door, so if it isn't really paralyzed and it decides to attack your daughter, she can't run and get back in the house. Bruh. Until you deem she can come back in the house, right? And that was the final time that I ever went out on the back porch. That was just because I was worried because I seen my dog fighting with another animal. I didn't want him getting rabies. And I didn't want to see another dead animal out in the yard, because it wouldn't be the first time that he was a German Shepherd Poodle mix. So, and Australian Shepherd also. So, he was kind of like, some of him probably had like a little bit of cattle dog in him. So, it wasn't the first time that he like had, that I suspected that he had injured an animal smaller. But yeah. Anyway. Yeah, so needless to say, like, the antagonizing and the getting locked out the house didn't help me feel comfortable leaving the house. So eventually I just started isolating in my room like 24/7 and barely left the house. Oh my gosh. And it was definitely like hard to get out of that and like let that go. Even when I left home, it was hard to like, even when I was staying with my in-laws with my daughter, like it was even, and the neighborhood was like boom, and then like literally 30-second walk was CVS. And I remember I had a prescription I needed to pick up. I put that shit off for 2 weeks because I could not bring myself to even get up, get dressed, and get near the front door, let alone to walk 30 seconds to CVS. Like, that's how bad it had gotten. But, I've gotten a lot better with that, thankfully. Oh. But yeah, it's just, sometimes it does not end just because you go no contact. You could go no contact with everybody and still, that's what I worry about. I'm like, well, I can go no contact with everybody, but it'll be me alone, and then these situations are going to continue, and there's going to be nobody for me to call for help. And that's going to be that on that. It's like, well, I'm going to have to learn some self-defense somehow. And then it's going to be like, oh, me with 2 under 2. How am I going to be able to employ self-defense with 2 babies? You know what I mean? So that's the kind of stuff that I keep thinking about when I'm thinking about how this stuff is starting to play out, and then my future. The pros and cons of staying in this situation, but just creating like massive distance versus like completely leaving. And then other abusers and weirdos and pedophiles out in this world, like catching the whiff of blood from me and sniffing out that I'm completely alone. And now defenseless, pregnant with a 1-year-old, or a couple months from now with a newborn and a 1-year-old. So, It's just like, yeah, it's sickening either way you look at it. But those are the struggles, like actual struggles after the scapegoat leaves. Like, what happens for the scapegoat after we leave? Well, it's not always sunshine and rainbows. Like, have you ever felt like you had a target on your head for no reason? Leaving the people who put you in that role is not going to make other abusers just immediately drop that role. Like, other people are going to, it's like how do you explain this? It's like a recruitment agency, you know what I mean? Like, it's like people are going to see that you don't have an agency and they're going to want to recruit you for the role of scapegoat in their life because they don't want you walking around free. Okay? So, yeah, unfortunately, you need to be extremely careful. And I am still in the process of figuring out what is really going to protect me out here in this world. Like, the systems, you can leave a system. That doesn't mean other people are going to let you actually leave the role. Even if you leave the role, other people will not be able to wait to put you back in there because, like, something about you, I don't know, they can sense it. It's like a shark. It's like blood for a shark. It's really weird and demonic, to be honest. So, yeah, but that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. Like, my experiences in, like, the actual effects, like, out in this world. Because this stuff, it doesn't stop with the household. Like, it follows you everywhere. And it's scary. It makes you feel just like naked and exposed. So I hope anybody who feels like that knows that you are literally not alone. There are a lot of other people walking around being targeted for absolutely no reason other than they got groomed into a certain role by other abusers, and other abusers can sense it, unfortunately. So yeah, eventually I'm gonna make a video about, like, grooming and what it looks like for adults and in, like, abusive situations, and what it looks like. You can begin groomed in your marriage, for example. You can begin groomed by a family that's not even yours into some kind of submission for their benefit, okay? It's not just children who get groomed. Grooming is a manipulative tactic of an abuser. They don't care who they use it on. It's just used for different means to an end. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to make a video about that. So, stay tuned. And thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe for more relatable, like, unexplainable videos. And I'll see you in my next one.